Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is your first time on the TheGooberGarage's YouTube channel. How you doing? Those of you that are repeat customers, welcome back. I am fresh off of shoulder surgery, which has given me some time to finally get these videos uploaded. Today's sheet metal day. Today's the story of how we took a pile of parts that looked like this, dragged it into the basement of my house, which was my 30 by 60 foot shop at the time, tore apart my 3rd gen Cummins, and after multiple trips to the junkyard, we were able to create this. Let's get after it. I had already done most of the measuring and cutting of the parts I already had, so the next step was to take my boys, Andrew, Aaron, and Therian, and go hit the junkyard. We knew what we needed, just had to get after it. First part we needed, another 3rd gen floor pan. Great success! Now that we had our donor sheet metal, it was time to take the knife to the 59. I hung the body and rolled the ram frame out and started cutting. The car was rotting into the ground in a barn in Minnesota when we bought it, so the rocker panels and floor pans were pretty shot. There's a lot of air, Flintstone ventilation, if you know what I mean. With the floor pans cut out of the Coronet, I was able to drop it on the ram frame for the first time and get an idea of how it was going to look, and I was stoked. This thing was going to be awesome. So the next step was to take the body back off the frame and begin fitting up the junkyard floor pan. Progress was being made, and I was pleased. It didn't take long, however, to hit the first major hurdle. I very quickly discovered that the rockers on the junkyard floor pan were pretty useless. They were Wisconsin rotten, and if you've ever seen a car that has survived more than a couple winters in Wisconsin, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we tried to get fancy and get some forms made to make custom rockers, but after that didn't work, we went back to basics. 5-inch square tube, and that worked a dream. Had an added bonus that we'll come into later. The next step was to figure out firewall, dash, steering, all the components that were in the front half of the cabin. And originally my intention was to use as much of the 59 as I could. The HVAC system on the 59 was roached, so that wasn't doable. We were gonna try to use the 3rd gen's HVAC box behind the 59 dash. Pretty quickly figured out that that wasn't gonna fit. The steering wheel, adapting all of that would have been a huge nightmare. I have cruise control buttons on my steering wheel. This thing does have functional cruise control. So I ended up ditching the 59 interior and going with 3rd gen for the whole thing. So as much as I would have loved the aesthetic of the 59, and I'll probably keep the original interior on whatever I build next, this one ended up like this. All right, just got to put one of the new tools into use. Working on blocking off these. So I used the new plasma cutter on the big sheet, cut like butter, and now we have a blocked off panel. So I have a clean, fresh surface to mount the dash bar to. I just had a major moment of victory. I got the firewall situated in a place where the entire 04 dash assembly, complete with steering column, pedal assembly, HVAC system, and everything else, fit in the car. Tucks right up tight to the windshield. I got to get that trim piece, but it all fits in here. The seat will fit, and with the location that it's in, by flipping this around, I was able to mount the 59's wiper assembly. So I will have wiper blades. I need to make different brake lines and extend the steering shaft, and then the entire 04 assembly is fit into the front of the car. It's a great success, yes! So I get the dash and the firewall in. Awesome. Leads me to a new problem. Floor pans are too high. Doesn't line up. But because I went with the 5-inch square tube for the rocker panels, I was able to recess the floor. By recessing the floor, I was able to make the firewall line up with the floor pans, make the dash fit, and, added bonus, lower the seat height. There's an 11-inch difference in height from rocker to roof on the Coronet and the Ram. So after that, I welded up the trim plates and cap corners and back seats and filled in a bunch of the stuff that connected metal to metal. Next up was to Franken-cobble the trans tunnel together. Voila! Just like that, we had a floor pan and 3/4 of a firewall. Ryder hit it with a quick vacuum to get everything squared away, then we were ready to move into the next step. Next step was HVAC. Lots of CAD here. Cardboard aided design. A lot of making templates, a lot of making stuff fit. Nip, tuck, cut, nip, tuck, cut, weld, grind, cut. But in the end, we got there. Huge progress. Firewall and wiper collar connected. Trans tunnel and floor pan are now one. Next step, we've got to cut the doors to clear on the dash, because this car has a feature where the dash fits around into the doors, wraps you up just like a Corvette. But, you know, cooler. Time for trunk stuff. Because this car was unfortunately sitting in a barn in Minnesota from 1969 on, most of the sheet metal in the back of this was rotten and gone, beyond repair, which meant it was easier to just cut it all out and start fresh. This meant it was time for some more battery-powered destruction and another junkyard run. So me and my buddy Aaron took our implements of cutting, battery-powered awesomeness, back to LKQ, and we chopped the floor out of a truck bed. I bolted the bed into the rearmost frame bolts and then measured it so that it made it to the back of the back seat and chopped it there so that it would fit. there, it was a blur of cardboard templates, plasma cutting and welding until we had this. A 1959 Dodge Coronet trunk with the guts of a 2004 Ram pickup, bolted to the frame with the original strength of the Ram. After this, I made another trip back to LKQ because on my last visit, I saw a dash and HVAC system that was too good to pass up. Mine got pretty butchered in the mock-up and testing phase, so I grabbed a freshie so we'd have a brand new one for when we got it installed. I cleaned out the cab, laid down some sealant, before I knew it, it looked like this. Now at this point, if you're following on and doing car math, I had taken parts from 3 trucks, a sheet of steel, a 1959 Coronet, and I had created this. I think that's pretty cool. That's gonna do it for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can watch the build as it happens. I promise I will do my best to get these videos uploaded on a more consistent schedule. We're gonna get after it. Whenever you're watching this, I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a great night. Go out and build something. Now that we had the donor sheet metal, it was time to take the knife to the 59. I hung the body. Now that we had our donor sheet metal, it was time to take the knife to the 59. I rolled the Ram's frame back out, and I don't remember any of the rest of the shit I'm supposed to say.